Now, some things have been happening that kind of make me laugh. I got to be honest with you. I see now since Friday and over the weekend and today, new forecasts warning of an imminent recession. We had one from JP+Morgan coming out saying we're very close to having a recession. I read another analyst who's a well-known analyst pretty much saying the same thing. And I've been reading a lot about how people are saying, if the Fed raises interest rates, we're going to have a recession. Now, this makes me really happy. It makes me laugh, too, because these are people who don't follow the numbers and the fiscal flows as I do. And again, remember, this is coming from what most people would consider to be very, very savvy, sophisticated sources, right? JP+Morgan. The other guy was Tom Lee. He's a very famous analyst, right? So they're coming from what most people would consider to be very savvy sources, right? But they're wrong. First of all, they don't follow the fiscal flows as I do. And let's be honest. I mean, those flows tell me, and then I tell you guys, at least those of you who are MMT Trader subscribers, we see things, everything daily. We know exactly what's going on. And it's all based on those flows, as I've explained many, many times. So that's how come I knew already 2 weeks in advance from that unemployment report that we were going to get a bad number. Everyone who has my report was updated on this. And even the night before, I sent out a special email. So these people don't follow these flows, and fine with me. Fine with me. It's like having, really, really the most important information and just not even being aware of it or ignoring it, right? Then the other thing is they just lack a concise understanding of how the monetary system functions. Again, you get a lot of these people saying if the Fed raises rates, that's going to touch off a recession. And again, that is a big fundamental misunderstanding about government spending, that the government is a net payer of interest, that the non-government, the private sector, is a net creditor, right? We hold 19 trillion of debt, so every interest rate increase that flows to us, more payments, that's deficit spending. Deficit spending was the biggest factor in the Ronald Reagan economic boom, and the biggest component of that spending, most people might say it was defense. It wasn't. It was interest payments. Okay, so I mean, it's all in here. We got all this. And, it's one thing to have information. Here's what I provide in the report. It's one thing to have information. It's another thing to know how to use it. And that's where the MMT understanding comes in. I know what's going to happen. My subscribers know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. But then you also need that aspect of the proper understanding of how that's going to affect the markets and the economy. We have that too. And again, I don't want to sound repetitive, but I have to, because that's how people learn. Nobody else does this. Nobody else puts it together. There are other MMT people out there. I'm not going to say that there's not, but they are academics, right? They talk about it. There's no applied MMT people, and even if there were, nobody is doing the fiscal flow analysis like I am. Nobody, period.